Hi, I am Danielle Parsons, and today I will be talking about two terms that all teachers and students, and really any technology user, should be aware of. And those two terms are cybersecurity and cyberbullying. When it comes to cybersecurity, it's really how we keep our information safe online. We store a lot of things digitally. So, some of those things could be storing documents on an Amazon Drive account. It could be logging into our bank account using a password. Now, those are just small scale examples. Big multi-million dollar companies are storing tons of information online that could potentially be dangerous in the wrong hands. Hackers are becoming a lot smarter. They are finding ways to block others out of their networks so that they can't be tracked. And they are learning how to clone their IP addresses. So even when they are tracked, it looks like they're using the internet somewhere where they actually are not located. Viruses could be detrimental to a system, whether it is small scale or large scale. So you really have to be careful about what links you're clicking and making sure that what you are using is reliable, which also plays into phishing. Sometimes you can get emails that look legitimate from a trusted site, but it is truly just another way to get you to click on a virus. There are a couple different ways that you can protect yourself online. One of them is by using systems that have a two-factor authentication. This just means you have to log in using two separate systems. So it could be a password and a PIN. It could be a password and a security question. It really just makes you log in twice to make sure it truly is you. Another protection measure could be the use of a CAPTCHA. So we've seen this before in a couple different ways. It could be a combination of letters and numbers that you have to type into a box behind like a scribble mark, or it could be where, say, 9 images pop up and it asks you to click all the street signs. Those types of protection should be things that, say, a robotic system couldn't complete. It can only be completed by a person. Really, the easiest way to protect yourself is don't make yourself an easy target. Make sure you're using secure passwords and try not to post things online that would make you a target for a cybersecurity breach. In the military world, we use a term called OPSEC, which really means operational security, and it is all about keeping yourself and your information safe. It deals with both face-to-face formats and cyber formats. An example of a face-to-face format could be your mail. So your mail could have information on it about what bank account companies you have, or even just as something simple as your address and where you live. We also have specific guidelines when it comes to devices we are authorized to use on our government computers. For example, we are not authorized to use any sort of USB drive because it is a system that can easily upload a virus to a computer. Now we're going to transition into our second important term, and that is cyberbullying. One of the articles I read uses a definition of the misuse of information and communication technologies to harm other people intentionally and on purpose. Now, while I was reading through a bunch of articles, every single one talked about how everyone has their own definition of what cyberbullying is. This one seemed to be a good summary of all those other definitions that everyone had. Cyberbullying among students does seem to be increasing because there's an increased use of lots of different types of social networks. We've got Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and they all give easy access for students to communicate with each other. And some of these systems do not give anonymous messages. A lot of the time, cyberbullying is thought to be an anonymous message to a student, but that is not always the case. One of the biggest reasons I have found in these articles that students will cyberbully others is to assert power or dominance, but there are many other reasons that students might cyberbully someone else. Cyberbullying has a huge impact on the students in our classroom, and it can cause a lot of psychological damage to the victims. They could go through stages of depression and they could have thoughts of suicide, or they could even attempt suicide. Some of the signs of cyberbullying that teachers and parents should really be watching for are frequent school absences. The students could have social and behavioral issues. They could be showing lots of anxiety, and they can also have low self-esteem. Before we even get to having to look for the signs of cyberbullying, we really need to be paying attention to prevention. So, communication with students and parents about what cyberbullying is and how they can be talking to prevent it ever happening in the first place. Raising awareness is huge because a lot of students and parents might not even know how prevalent cyberbullying is. So, talking about it is getting the information out there to more people. Below here you can see 3 resources that parents, students, and teachers can all use. The first one is called Speak Out, Stay Safe, and it's a site where children, parents, and teachers in the UK can go to get information. It shows their hotlines, trainings that teachers can use, and activities for kids to complete. The second is an assessment tool, and it is for teachers or principals or school districts to evaluate the systems they have in place for safeguarding their students to see if it needs altered or if it's working successfully. And the very last site is called cyberbullyhelp.com, and it provides training resources. So this could be either for parents or teachers. And there are handouts, there are videos to watch, and there are books to read. Overall, the terms cyberbullying and cybersecurity are two extremely important terms that every adult and child should understand. It is imperative that we are keeping both ourselves and our students safe.